So this morning, I'm going to do a little throwback to last month because it's February already. So it's been like yesterday was New Year's Eve, and I think the day before that was Christmas, right? But now it's February. How time passes pretty quickly when we're not paying attention. So I want to go back a couple weeks to Christmas. Because at Christmas, we have this tradition in the material world that kind of happens over and over and over again every single year. And I kind of wrap it up this way. We prepare, we participate, and then we pack it away. And next year, we're going to prepare, we're going to participate, and we're going to pack it away again. Because there was a lot of preparation for Christmas. We all participated in family gatherings and gift givings and exchanges and parties and all kinds of things. And if you look around, it's all packed away. Who's all packed their Christmas away already? It's all. There you go. It's all packed away. So if we're doing that in the material side of Christmas, are we doing it on the spiritual side of Christmas? So today I want to take prepare, participate, and pack away. And spiritually turn it into prepare, participate, and anticipate. Because we don't want to pack it away. We don't want to pack away what we did spiritually at Christmas time. Because at Christmas time, we did the prepare. We did the prepare part. We did the whole 4 weeks of Advent. We started with hope and faith, excuse me. And then we had the week where we talked about love, and the week that we talked about peace, and then finally the week that we talked about joy. And that all prepared us to participate in that Christmas celebration, which is really about the rebirth of this Christ presence within each and every one of us. That spark of the divine. Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore called it the individualization of God within each and every one of us. That we are an individualized expression of the divine. And we celebrate that at Christmas. And then we participated in that Christmas service. And then we participated in our burning bowls ceremony, where we let go of all of those thoughts and beliefs that we've been carrying or were given, even sometimes unknowingly, throughout our life that may have been holding back our spiritual growth. Sometimes it was just a grudge that we needed to set down so we didn't have to carry that anymore. But we let go of those things in the burning bowl. And that was the beginning of the process of letting them go, because it takes more than just one time. But symbolically, that ceremony is we're willing to let go of those things and open up to something new. And that something new was what we participated in with our white stone. And that white stone ceremony was a chance for us to sit with the divine and say, what is my next step? Where is my next area of growth? What do I work on in this coming year to bring me closer to the divinity within me, to make me a fuller expression of that divine Christ presence? Anybody know where the white stone is? Who looked at it today? You don't have to answer. That's not a shame thing, not a game thing. Just think, did you look at it today? Have you been working your white stone? Or did we pack it away? Is it in a drawer or in a pocket or in a closet or somewhere? Or is it someplace prominent? I always put mine in my bathroom so I can see it every morning. But I only see it usually once a day because usually I'm gone after that. So I had someone tell me, no, I put it on my steps. I thought, that's an unusual place to put it, but I go up and down my steps 25 times a day. And so my white stone's right there, so I have to keep seeing it. So she's participating with her white stone. But we can't pack that away. We want to use that. We want to continue to participate in this process and then anticipate. So let's get to that participate, because we've done the prep work. Next year we'll do some more prep work, because there's always another step in growth, and we'll prepare for the next step. But we've prepared for this step. So let's continue to participate in this process this year. If we don't pack it away and we continue to process, to see what will come for us in the divine. And I used this seed, nurture the seed, because that seed that was planted within us needs constant nourishment. It needs to be giving something to grow. In the Bible, Jesus says you only need a mustard seed sized piece of faith, because we have to have faith that what we're doing is making a difference in ourselves and in the world. And it's a very common quote that most of you have already heard. It's in Matthew chapter 17, verses 20 and 21. It says, "For truly I tell you, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible to you." And the move the mountain is a metaphor. You don't need to move a mountain, but we need to move big things in our lives. And with faith, Jesus says, you only need the size of a mustard seed, and anything is possible for you. Any amount of spiritual growth is possible for you if you have just a little bit of faith. And he uses the mustard seed because the mustard seed, although it's not the smallest seed, it's a little tiny, scrappy little seed. When this mustard seed pod opens, it kind of is one of those seed pods that kind of explodes and kind of throws the seeds when it opens. And it doesn't matter where they land, the seeds will pretty much sprout anywhere. Good soil, rocks, stones, gravel, it's pretty much going to sprout. A lot of water, little water, no water, it's going to try and sprout. That's how powerful just this little bit is. And he uses the mustard seed not only for that, but because this mustard seed, in that time, people would know the mustard plant was a weed. They weren't planting it to harvest huge crops of mustard. It was weed. It gets big and people say it will turn into a tree, but basically it's a big weedy bush. But the thing about that little mustard seed is it's just going to kindly keep creeping out and pushing out all those other things that have been planted there forever. All of those things that we wrote down and burned in the burning bowl in that ceremony, this little mustard seed sized piece of faith can creep out, take over, and push out and take over in their place. That's why Jesus uses mustard seed, because it changes and transforms what's already there. It changes the landscape. He uses yeast and bread for the same reason, because it transforms what's already there. So who you are and what you've gone through and what you've brought to this world to this point, just a little bit of faith, if you work it, will just slowly take over, infiltrate, and help squeeze out those things that no longer serve you, the things that are holding you back, bringing you more and more of your divine potential. That's why he uses a mustard seed. So we want to nourish those little seeds of faith. We want to give it the best chance to do exactly that, to help us let go of, weed out those long-held beliefs and thought patterns, those I can'ts, I shouldn't, I wouldn't, any of those doubts, any of those beliefs that we were given in some religious doctrine that no longer makes sense to us, doesn't resonate with our soul, doesn't make them wrong, says that just doesn't resonate with me anymore. And I need to let that go so that something else can take its place. And that little seed of faith will weed its way in there. So how do we do that? Well, you're in unity, so you're always going to hear pray and meditate. You got to pray and meditate. Not you gotta, you should. I suggest. I'm not going to give you a law. But I can tell you the benefits of doing it. Because even if you don't understand what meditation is and you figure it's been a waste of time your entire life, it hasn't. Because I've spent a lot of time in meditation and it's resulted in a lot of to-do lists, a lot of grocery lists. It's resulted in a whole lot of redoing conversations I've had with people in the past, and I've spent a lot of meditation time where I get done and I say, well, I've decided how I'm going to handle that situation in the future. If it ever comes up, I've got the whole conversation already planned out. And I figure I just wasted 20 minutes of my life. But I didn't. because the intention was there to be with the divine. The intention was there. And just those few brief seconds where you remember, oh, I'm supposed to be meditating, and get centered one more time. It's like a spiritual push-up. And then sometimes I'll sit down to meditate, and I'll blink my eyes, and 45 minutes have gone by, and I don't know where it went. But the power of meditation is cumulative. The power of prayer is cumulative. It builds over time. That prayer of you just sitting and reaffirming, as the Fillmore said, the truths of who and what you are. Not a prayer of gimme, 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 a prayer of I am, and affirming truths. Brings into your consciousness, feeds that little seed of faith. And I can only tell you what happened in my life. I can't tell you what happened in your life or in the world or definitive proof of meditation. But I can tell you that I've realized in my life I'm calmer, I'm more at peace, I'm less reactive, I'm more centered, I think I'm more grounded. And I hope it's not just because I'm old. I don't think that's it. It's not because I'm less energetic. It's because I'm centered. Not always, more centered. And that's what it brings for you. More of the divine into your life. Got a lot more to go. Plenty of room for that. My family will tell you for sure. Ask my kids. But the meditation brings its results. You have to listen in this time of prayer also. Some people will say prayer is the time of talking to God and meditation is the time of listening to God. Always be listening to God, not just in time of prayer and meditation, but listen and be open for what is yours to do. What is your next thing to do? Because it will come from an unlikely place. It won't come from some voice from the mountaintop saying, this is where you go in your divine life. This is where you go in your spiritual growth. Often it's quiet. It's from an unfamiliar place. And sometimes it's just repetitive, where there's that thought again. There's that desire again. And desire is simply your soul's internal prompt. Those things that you desire is simply your soul prompting you into action. So if we pay attention to those over time, sometimes it's just seeing the same message on a bumper sticker or a billboard or the message in a song, or somebody keeps bringing something up to where you're like, why does that keep coming up in my life? You have to be listening and then be open to what might be coming. And I can only talk about my personal life's experiences. And I was working at a church, and the assistant minister started some SEE classes, spiritual education and enrichment classes. And since I was working there, you get to take them for free, and she's like, you need to take these classes. I'm like, well, I need to take these classes and learn more about this faith that I've been attending church in for as long as I have. And then it was, are you taking them for credit? Fill this form out. I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll take that. And then they said, you're only a couple of requirements away from being a licensed Unity teacher. So, I could be a licensed Unity teacher. I could teach one of these classes. This will work. So I was open to that. They said, you're kind of on the ministerial path. And I said, oh, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Not open to that at all. I was very vocal that I was not open to that at all. But it kept coming up, and it kept coming up, and it kept coming up. And now it says Reverend Don by my name. And I fought it the whole way. But eventually, because I was listening, and then I became open, it just naturally evolved. And it's taken me where I am today. So be open, not to be a minister, but to be what's next for you. What is it that keeps coming up for you? What is it that's always that nagging, I always wanted to? Is that your soul's prompt? Is there something you could step forward to do? What is your next step? And that's my next point. Step up. That's how you participate in your soul's growth. You step up. You have to take that next tiny little step, that action that's as big as a mustard seed, and just move forward into one little thing more that you can do to support your soul's growth. It doesn't have to be spend 3 years in ministerial school and be a minister. It might be volunteer to be an usher here on Sunday once a month, or run hospitality, or volunteer at a shelter somewhere. What does your soul need to do to be more fulfilled? Take that next step. Be willing to go one bit more. And again, I'll talk about my own personal experience, because that's all I have. So Unity teaches this tithing principle. And I'm an accountant, a CPA by trade in my earlier life. And I fought it tooth and nail because I was raised Roman Catholic, and I was raised by my mother, who you put your $20 in the basket every week, and that was it. From day one until the day end, you put your $20 in, and that was it. So we did that for years and years and years. Put my little $20 in whenever I went to church. And then kept nagging at me, does this really work? I said, well, I can do 25. See what happens. And then I went a little bit more. Well, we didn't lose our house. We didn't starve. Bumped it up a little bit more. And over time, kept giving more and more every single week as my finances kind of adjusted around it and our family finances. And then I got to the end of the year, a couple years later, and I'm looking from an accountant's standpoint going, we've made the same, we've given away more, and we ended up with more. I call it God math. It does not make sense. It never made sense. I was talking to a friend of mine who was not only a CPA, but she was a lawyer also, and she said, I know. I can't figure it out. She said, the more we give, the more we end up with. You can't outgive God. That's just divine principles. If you just take those little tiny steps and move forward in faith, then what you can anticipate is unimaginable. The infinite is possible for you to anticipate. Anything is possible. If you participate in what you've done the preparation for, anticipate, not expect, not pay back. This isn't a purchase, but you can anticipate something better coming back to you. In Luke 11:10, Jesus says this, for everyone who asks receives, the one who seeks finds, and to the one who knocks the door will be opened. Another common Bible scripture. But he says, for everyone who asks will receive. He says, not the people who go to church every Sunday. He says, not my followers. He says, not the people who listen to me, not the Jews, not the pagans, not the Baptists. He says, everyone. 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 That has to mean you. That has to mean me. If you knock, the door will be answered. If you ask, you will receive. So you can anticipate an answer. You can anticipate it coming back to you. You can call it karma. You can call it the law of giving and receiving. You can call it whatever goes around comes around. But it's a divine concept. It's a divine principle. It's a divine truth. And our teacher and way shower, Jesus, is telling you directly, everyone. This is available to everyone. So why not? Why not? Why not, now that we've done the preparation? Why not step up our participation? And why not anticipate infinite possibilities? Why not anticipate unlimited love? I didn't know what I would be getting when I started on this spiritual journey, but I know where I am now. I don't know where I'm going to be 10 years from now. But right now, I'm happy. I'm at peace. I'm secure. I'm financially stable. My family is. Everything is really going well in my life. It's not perfect. There's setbacks, there's trials, there's conflicts, but overall, the general character of what is coming back at me at this present moment is good. And that's what the promise here is. If you give it, you will receive it. So my takeaway from today is you've done the preparation. You've started the participation. Continue that. Make those choices. Continue to look for ways to hear God's message to you. Look for ways to take that little tiny step forward in what's yours to do for your spiritual growth. And then, with this promise for everyone that you'll be answered, then sit back with an open and cheerful heart and just anticipate. Just anticipate and see what's coming. And the promise will be answered. I can pretty much guarantee it. Amen. Amen.